Did you have a relationship with Biggie back then?
I lived on Big Block when I came home in '89. After I got acquitted for the murder, I moved on Fulton and St. James, so I saw him pretty much every day for about like maybe a year and a half. You know, I was close to more or less Lil Cease and his family than it was Big though. But it was always an acknowledgement of them knowing that I was the homie, you know what I'm saying, and you know, the big homie, and I kind of like got that, you know, Fulton Street love. You know what I mean? Being that I was from Red Hook and being I was from Brooklyn representing BK hard, you know, they always acknowledged me and gave me that respect. You know, the whole Rivera crew, you know, the whole Just and all of them, you know, it was nothing but love with all of them. A lot of, you know, the only thing I kind of like, I have another regret too, is that me and Un used to go back and forth because I used to always represent Jay real hard. I would have a lot of basement tapes with Jay and Big Daddy Kane, or, you know, Jay and Jazzo, and, you know, I was always played. I was one of the guys who always had like one of them hard systems that'd come through knocking, you know what I'm saying, killing the block, and I'd be rocking some joints from Jay and them. And, you know, I'm playing it one day on Fulton, and they like, yo, who that? I said, yeah, that's my man, it's Jay-Z. Yeah, can't nobody in Brooklyn, nobody can fuck with this kid. So, and then that's when Un will come up with talking about how big is this and big is that. So, you know, I kind of regret the moment that when me and Un was going back and forth for who was the best, that I didn't bring Jay around, you know what I'm saying, for them to actually battle, because that was the thing that was highly talked about, was me bringing Jay to the table and Un bringing Big to the table, and we just finally putting it to rest about who was the best at that time. So I kind of like, I'm disappointed in myself for that one though, but, you know, it's all good.
Any interesting Biggie stories that stood out from that time?
Yeah, because when I was away, I saw Big. When I first saw Big's video, I was impressed in how I saw some truth in a lot of what he was saying. Like, you know, he was a lot realer with his rhymes than a lot of other guys that rhyme even still to the day. I think that's what made Big a little bit more authentic than most, you know, and he was kind of like witty about it. Like even the times when he talked about how when he used to hustle to feed his child and with the lumberjack on his back and all the other stuff, like I remember seeing that. I remember on Fulton and Washington right there with him and his whole Junior Mafia crew and seeing him do his thing. You know, and seeing that they always really wanted to say something to me, but I guess them being kind of like a little bit younger or feeling somewhat kind of like a little intimidated on who I really was, that, you know, they never really came at me to try to cross that line and try to ask for me for anything in terms of trying to put them on or stepping their game up somewhat. I was a big Tupac fan too, and along with being a big Biggie fan, and it kind of like when I was away, it kind of like really disappointed me heavily to see two of my greatest rappers at that time going at it with each other though. But you know, it was extremely painful when Pac died, but surprisingly to most, I kind of predicted Big's passing. You know, even especially after him doing the going back to Cali, him actually going back to Cali would have never been a move that I would have particularly had made. But, you know, whatever his reasons were to go back, you know what I mean, those were the reasons. And, you know, that's the disappointing part though, because it was still kind of fresh in everybody's hearts, you know what I mean? Even on the East Coast, it was fresh in everybody's hearts, and then to go over there to even just make your presence felt wasn't too much of a strategy move, far as when you out there going to war against anybody and anything. So that kind of like took me back a little bit. Like I remember I was in Farrington, New Jersey facility at that time, and that just like. It stopped my time for a second, really, to be honest with you.